Hey, and welcome back to Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures. If you're new here, I am Miss Kitty, and I love the Wild West. But not just the popular Wild West. I love finding new and obscure information and sharing it with my viewers. If you're also a fan of the Wild West, be sure to subscribe to Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures. And who knows, maybe you'll learn a thing or two. Today, we embark on a journey where the history books meet the silver screen. In 1976, a movie starring Clint Eastwood debuted in theaters and soon became a Western cult classic. To this day, it's listed as one of the top 50 Westerns of all times. If you want to know the true story behind the Outlaw Josey Wales, then stay tuned. Before we begin, a huge shout out to Alabama Smokey Wilson for today's video suggestion. I really do appreciate it. And for all my viewers out there, if you're interested in a particular subject or have an idea for a future video, please leave a comment down below. I'm always interested in your suggestions. The synopsis of the movie goes something like this. After Civil War renegades pillaged the home of a farmer and killed his wife and child, he becomes a one-man army to avenge the destruction and their deaths. The synopsis and the acting skills of the legendary Clint Eastwood made for a very interesting film. But how many of you knew that it was actually based on a real person? Here's the story of William Wilson, the Great Bushwacker. William Wilson, or Bill as he was later known, was born around 1830 in the Missouri Ozarks. As an adult, he reached the height of 6 feet 2. He had dark curly hair and bright blue eyes. He learned to play the violin and continued in this practice well into his 20s, when he was often hired to perform at weddings and cotillions. His nimble fingers that made playing the violin come so naturally to Bill also helped him in another hobby, shooting, but more on that later. His family were well-to-do Southern farmers who, regrettably, owned slaves. But as tensions increased in the build-up to Civil War, Bill's family, living in the border state of Missouri, freed their slaves. On the brink of Civil War, his father wished to remain neutral and advised his children to do the same. All was well and good until the summer of 1861, when Union horses were stolen from a nearby fort. For unknown reasons, Union soldiers accused Bill of stealing the horses. They came to his home, presumably to look for said horses. When they couldn't find the horses, they instead evicted his family, stole his belongings, and set fire to his home, barn, and property. Bill then moved his family to a house on his mother's family property and began his quest for revenge as a bushwhacker. Bushwhackers were Missourians who fled to the rugged backcountry to live in hiding and resist the Union occupation of the border counties. They fought guerrilla style, fighting Union patrols typically by ambush, hence the name bushwhackers. Hey, I hate to interrupt the story, but if you're liking this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed to Miss Kitty's Wild West Adventures. He armed himself with 2 .44 caliber 6-shooters, and bodies soon followed in his wake. The first 4 he killed were the 4 Union soldiers who had raided his farm. Bill would kill the men and steal their horses, and then deliver the horses to the Quantrill raiders. It is unknown how many men he killed, but it is believed to be in the dozens. He soon became known as the Great Bushwacker. Incidentally, did you know the Bushwacker is also a cocktail made with Kahlua, rum, and creme de cacao? That sounds delicious. Bartender?
Drinks are on me.
Bill preferred to work alone, but it's rumored that he always told people he always had 3 friends with him. His best horse and his 2 trusty colts. Following the war, he fled to Texas with many of the Quantrill raiders to hide out. Over time, many of these former bushwhackers brokered pardons with the U.S. government, but Bill never did, refusing to give up. He ended up in McKinney, Texas, where he sold apples by the wagon load. 2 of his former comrades, John Thompson and William Blackmore, spied him near the town of Van Alstyne. Have you ever been there? It's a very small little town on the map. They ambushed him, robbed him, shot him several times, and buried him in a shallow grave. A grave that, to Miss Kitty's knowledge, has gone lost to time. If you know where it is, leave a comment down below. In the end, the Great Bushwacker had himself been bushwhacked. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and ding the bell for notifications. And in the meantime, I'll catch you on down the trail.